Hello there, and welcome to Homeownership Day 2025. My name is Angie Weeks. I'm a real estate broker here in Southern California. You are in the right session today if you are looking to find out about 5 marketing mistakes that even the best realtors make. The actual title of this session is Seller Beware: 5 marketing mistakes even the best agents make. The first point that I want to bring up as a mistake that I see commonly made is rushing to market. I understand if something major happens in your life, a death, a divorce, and you just don't want the weight of this property that's on your hands anymore. And a lot of times people will just say, just throw it on the market. One photo's fine, just get it out there. And that's really the worst mistake that you can possibly make. So, proper planning and preparation is absolutely important. It's mission critical. One of the things that you want to do that takes sometimes a couple days or at least a couple weeks is to bring professional staging into your home. I'm sure you're watching this because you want to get top dollar. And the way to do that is through professional staging practices. So I don't make any extra money telling you that. I just know what my buyers are looking for. And I know when I see them walk through a property that's staged, they get really excited and they want to write an offer. Sometimes they'll go above asking price because the property feels right to them. So staging is something that is not an expense, it is an investment. And usually, a good kind of budget for your staging situation should be like 1 to 2 months of your mortgage payment. Usually that's just an absolute no-brainer because a stager can help you sell your property 30 to 60 days quicker than unstaged properties. So right there, you're making your money back. And then also I see in my particular market, there's a swing between the top and bottom of comps, and you want the top of comps, right? Not the bottom. So in order to get that, extra, say 3 to 15%, then, staged properties are the ones that win those wars, let's say. And then remembering that little things add up with buyers. If you list without fixing small blemishes in your home, leaving, something leaking, leaving paint peeling, just some of these little things that buyers notice when they're going through the property, that can cause them to either lowball offer to you because they think you don't care, I don't care, or even worse, if something is uncovered later on during the inspection process, then that can cause them to even bail on the escrow or on the property deal and have you come back onto the market. So make sure that you don't rush to market. And ignore the small blemishes that are happening with your home. I know it's impossible to fix every single thing. That's not what I'm saying. You just have to talk with your agent, talk with an experienced agent who knows what are these points that the buyers are looking for, and they can help guide you with what would be the most intelligent task list to handle in your time frame so that you can still come on the market quickly but do so and get top dollar. And then also focusing on your curb appeal. Your curb and your interior appeal are both important. So you want to make sure that you bring out the landscaper, trim the trees, make sure the grass is freshly cut, all of those types of things, so that we can get the best photos possible. And that leads me to my next point, which is DIY photos. That is like a huge no-no. You do not want DIY photos, and that is not guaranteed that you will get professional photos in the California listing agreements. You have to speak with your agent and confirm that they will be providing professional photos and sending a pro over, or, maybe that's something that you're negotiating that you're paying for yourself. But either way, you don't want to rush your photos either. You want to consider the best time of day for the overall lighting at your property, right? Think, when does the pool have full sun? When does the interior have the best light? When are the least amount of cars on your street? And also, are you taking photos on trash day? No, you shouldn't be. You don't want all those cans out in the street when they're taking that exterior curb appeal photo, right? So all of these things factor in these little nuances to helping you get top dollar for your property and making sure that your best foot's forward. The professional photography is just absolutely critical. I can't press on that enough. It's a buyer's first impression, and it will help make or break a showing. And more showings equal more offers. And if you get more offers in a bidding war, then you're really doing well as a seller. And that's what my goal is as a listing agent, and every quality listing agent, that's what their goal is as well, is to put you in the power position by having multiple offers. So, dark, blurry, or DIY photos are an absolute no-no, and you want to make sure that you're having this conversation before your property goes on the market, because you can't say throw my property on the market and then throw the photos up next week. Agents have to, in California anyway, at least add one photo to the listing when they bring it to market. And here's a big mistake: waiting to get those professional photos done is when your listing comes to market, it has like one opportunity when it goes out to everybody, right? And you see it on Zillow and Redfin and all the other apps, and it's like new listing. And that's when the actual interested buyers click on that. If that only has one photo, you're doing yourself a huge disservice by not giving them the full picture. They're not going to want to schedule a showing unless it's in their for sure exact neighborhood that they want. And you just missed a big buyer pool opportunity. So do not be late with your photos. They need to be ready to go on day one of launch so that you can come out and have the best foot forward and make sure that you get top dollar for your listing. And then also, vertical photos are not the way to handle your MLS listing. So, of course, we do that in stories, and we do this, on Instagram and Reels and some of these things, but that is not the way that you want to market your property overall through the multiple listing service. So making sure that your agent is not going through with their cell phone and taking pictures, up and down, that is doing you a disservice, because people can't see the full perspective of your home. They can't see all the details in these up and down photos. It's a lot of floor, it's a lot of ceiling, but they're trying to get a kind of like a feel of your floor plan. And so horizontal photos are extremely important. I see that mistake all the time in the MLS, including with $1 million listings, and it just breaks my heart for you guys. It is not the best representation of your property. And the other thing is drone photos. Don't skimp on drone photos. If I realize they're not always allowed. So sometimes, due to air traffic and your location, you can't do a drone photo. Usually you can at least go up a little bit above your property and get some type of view of the neighborhood. I recommend to still do that. And if it is allowed or permitted, it's great to go up even higher. One of the things that I love to see, I know it's a really good agent when I see these in their MLS listings, is a photo of the community or the neighborhood, the city, that has the little pinpoints on it that are showing people some of the highlights of that city and of that community. So you see like a pinpoint for the local coffee shop or, grocery store, things like that. Those are all helpful, especially to a buyer that may be coming in from overseas or a relocation buyer. It's a really great way to make sure that you get more feet in your door and more offers in your hand. Another mistake that I see made all the time is no SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and that's the process of getting a listing found in Google or Yahoo, or the main search engines out there. That's something every single online buyer is starting in by typing in a keyword phrase, right, you guys? So I've actually, a fun fact, I've had a search engine optimization company and marketing online for over 20 years now, and it's something that it really helped me to get ahead, and some of my other small businesses in the Southern California areas, having proper SEO on your website and your overall profiles online. So make sure that your listing has those keyword phrases in it that a buyer might type in? Is it mentioned in the text that you are on a golf course, or that you have ocean views, or that you have park views? Is it mentioned in your text that you have are located in this specific community that everybody wants to be in, or maybe a really desired, elementary school around, or things like that. So make sure that you've got the community name in the listing description, not just on the listing. And then also, mentioning the community amenities, not just what's going on in your own actual home, because this is an all-encompassing situation, right? People aren't just buying that particular property. They're buying into this area and this lifestyle, right? And so you want to make sure that they kind of can read about the lifestyle, and then when they're typing in phrases about the type of lifestyle that they're looking for, that your listing boop, pops up and it's a match. So you want to take time also to make sure that the photos on your listing, there should be at least like 25 to 50 photos on every single MLS listing, no matter how big or small your property is, that those photos also have descriptions, because that is a SEO opportunity. Another mistake that I see commonly made is incomplete data entry. Agents are just rushing and they're filling out the bare minimum and the blanks. And one thing that is important to note is that picky buyers have agents that are programming in extremely specific searches for those to find those match listings, right? And so you have to make sure that your listing doesn't get passed by because of this incomplete data. If it's not in there, that like these deal breaker items like air conditioning, or upper versus lower level, or the direction that the property faces, or leased versus owned solar, and I back to that, specific elementary, middle, or high school, those things are all really important to make sure that the full data is in that listing. I cannot tell you how many listings I see that just have the absolute bare minimum filled out, and that is not doing your property the justice that it needs to get all of the possible buyers and offers in through the door. So the last mistake that I see happen a lot is just ignoring cross-marketing opportunities. And so everybody has like their preferred ways of marketing. Some will do newspaper, some will do snail mail, some will do, online advertising. And what you really want is a meld of all of those things, because you don't know what particular platform or avenue or area that your buyer is coming from. So remember that MLS entry alone will not get top dollar. It will get you out there, and it's definitely better than, just putting a for sale by owner sign in your yard, or, trusting, one marketing. But you also want to have these other cross marketing opportunities. So another big one that I see missed, kind of people almost like forgot about it because during pandemic we were doing things different, right? But now we're back to let's say new normal, and we're doing broker previews again and open houses again. So a broker preview is in essence an agent open house, where agents are inviting the other agents in their area to come and tour this new listing and make a match with their buyer. Because let's be honest, fellow agents are our best referral sources. They know buyers who are ready to act now, who are pre-approved now, and who are motivated now. You do not want to ignore the pool of other agents. Even if you didn't hire them to be your listing agent, somebody is going to be on the buy side. So that's something that, you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, and making sure that you're doing this broker preview. Also, public open houses are important for neighborhood marketing and to draw in buyers who have not yet signed an agency agreement. So if I get it. A lot of people don't want to just have the public coming through their property. But it's a cross-marketing opportunity that I wouldn't recommend that you miss, especially with the new rules for buyer's agency out there. In addition to that, social media is an important outlet. want to ask and see like how previous listings were marketed before you sign a listing agreement with someone else. And it's really critical that you look at this and you take you take a good look and see how other listings were marketed by any particular agents that you're looking to interview, and know that a lot of times they have the same standards of marketing for all of the listings. So is this something that you agree with the way that it's done, and that it looks good and well presented, professional, lots of photos, good lighting, all of those types of things, right? And remember that video sells. Is your agent utilizing Reels? Are they doing a virtual tour, putting that up on YouTube? YouTube is another SEO opportunity. So all of these cross-marketing things come together and help you, show your property in the best light. Another cross-marketing opportunity is custom websites. There's more SEO that can be added there. Convertibility with forms to fill out to take a tour of this particular listing. It's great so that you have a link that you can share with your family and friends. Agents have a direct link that they can share with their interested buyers. It's a good thing to have your own website, your own blog post for that listing that you're bringing to market. And then also the new technologies shouldn't be ignored. Is your agent helping you market in the metaverse, or are they minting NFTs on the blockchain so that some of the Web3 crowd can get some interest in your listing as well? I know everybody is like always trying to learn a new technology, but making sure that you're interviewing and selecting agents that are embracing new technologies, that are constantly learning, that are not know-it-alls and say, we always do it this way and this is the only way to do it. That's the type of, agent that's going to help you to avoid these 5 seller mistakes, right? And so let's review them again so they're just locked into your memory, right? First is rushing to market. We don't want to rush to market. Second, DIY photos. That's a big no-no. Third, no SEO. Fourth, incomplete data entry. And fifth, ignoring cross-marketing opportunities. If you make sure to avoid these pitfalls and landmines, you're going to get better views, you're going to get more showings, and you're going to generate increased interest for your property, and win the bid over other homes that are out there that are competing against yours. So thank you for taking the time to do your property justice and make sure that you're shining above all of the other listings out there. If there's anything I can do to help you in your quest, feel free to give me a follow, Ask Angie team, reach out to me. We also have some AI tools that can help you with proper valuations and things like that. So thank you again for watching my Home Ownership Day session. My name is Angie Weeks, and I look forward to seeing your home get sold for top dollar. Take care.